Recognized for 3 minutes.
Thank the Speaker. I think my friend from Pennsylvania, and I couldn't help but notice my colleagues on the other side of the aisle going yet again to one of their pages in their playbook that they love to bring out every single time we have a debate. It's like, who can you trust? Well, you can't trust corporate America. Well, guess what? I don't trust corporate America. I don't trust big oil. I don't trust them any more than I trust any of the big government bureaucrats that decide what's best for me. I do trust the market. I do trust people being able to go out and use their capital to go out and produce the best energy for the American people. But this administration and my Democratic colleagues don't want to do that, as exemplified by the fact that the President of the United States dumped 300 million barrels out of the Strategic Petroleum Reserve last year heading into an election. 300 million barrels, they cut the Strategic Petroleum Reserve in half in order to bail out their election because their policies were so bad. Even Goldman Sachs is saying that the so-called Inflation Reduction Act, which massively expands unreliable energy, would cost $1.2 trillion. That's the truth. I rise in support of the rule for this bill. I think it's critically important that we take a massive step forward to try to ensure that we open up exploration on lands, repeal the methane tax, overhaul permitting. But it's only a simple step, because the step that has to be taken is to free up the market from the ungodly amount of subsidies coming from Washington, subsidizing unreliable energy at the expense of capital being able to flow into the development of oil and natural gas and nuclear power to ensure that we have the power to live our lives. When you have a cloudy, windless day, you have to have power. This building is powered by natural gas. Hospitals across this country stay open because of natural gas. The fact of the matter is, you cannot power the world right now with wind and solar power. And my colleagues on the other side of the aisle live in unicorn land with fairy dust, completely ignoring the reality of what happens to real Americans when the cost of their goods and services go up, when they have inflation skyrocketing and raising up, when it's destroying their way of life because people want to feel good about themselves, hopping in their Tesla and rolling around pretending that there's a magic energy tree. There isn't. People's lives are at stake. My colleagues on the other side of the aisle want the American people to lack the energy that they need to live their lives productively and affordably. You want to know why there's inflation going up? Because this body has spent money it doesn't have, because the Fed has printed money and jacked up the extent to which we have massive easy money out into the supply of money. We have spent money we don't have, and we have regulated the oil and gas industry to death such that we don't have the ability to actually back up their magic fairy dust energy supplies with wind and solar. I yield back.
The gentleman from